Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Alright everybody, it's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. And we have your Q&A coming up in a couple of days, but tomorrow is a big event. You know, I thought I knew everything there was to know about the raw food diet. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been interviewing people that have been eating the raw food diet for a long time. But I don't know all there is to know, because tomorrow night we're going to have a special guest. We're going to do a free webinar with Dr. Jeff Hazim, and he's going to talk about an amazing benefit to eating a raw food diet that I never heard before in all my years of eating a raw food diet. And I've never heard anyone speaking about it, and I just didn't know anything about it. But it's just going to confirm another great reason to be careful when you eat cooked food, or not to eat too much cooked food. It's not only this man's opinion, but he's backing it up with scientific results. The scientific community has already confirmed what is so important about raw foods, and it's not only enzymes. There's more to it than just enzymes, and he's going to be talking about that tomorrow night on the webinar. So we're going to be catching that tomorrow night, and in addition, his wife, Andrea Hazim, is an amazing raw food chef, and she's going to be showing us 2 raw food recipes that are, I told her I want them to be real simple, because I like to keep the recipes simple and easy and quick to do. So she's going to do those as well. I'll give you a little bit more about the webinar that's going to happen tomorrow night in a little while. You can sign up at the link below. We have a limited amount of space. It's starting at 8:30 tomorrow night. It's going to be live, 8:30 to 9:30. I'm going to be hosting it, and I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Jeff Hazim, and then his wife's going to be giving a little information as well. We're also going to take live Q&A with Dr. Jeff Hazim about this, an amazing subject that I know it's going to be the next thing a lot of raw fooders out there are talking about. But today's show, I got a whole bunch of lectures and questions and answers, and a whole bunch of topics that I have lined up. The videos are done, they're ready to go, but you know, Dr. Jeff made me think about topics that aren't often spoken about in the raw food world that need to be. And you know, we always talk about enzymes. I like to talk about the daylight diet. Some people now are talking about hormones and how lack of hormones on a raw food diet might affect our overall health for longevity, and the best way to monitor them is through blood work. Then of course you have some people talking about things that I don't agree with, like agave nectar and recipes and raw chocolate as being a health food. You know, these are the things that people often talk about in a raw food diet and lifestyle. There are people that talk about the spiritual aspects of health. I definitely point to the spiritual aspects of being important. But what are some health tips about raw food that isn't usually covered? And if you have questions, I'd like to answer them, but you know, more and more people are talking about the scientific results to back things up, but basically people have been giving their opinion for a long time. But I find of all the subjects that are misunderstood or not spoken about enough is the fact that why are we eating a raw food diet? What is so special about raw foods that makes it better than eating cooked foods? First of all, cooked foods is not as bad as everyone say it is, because if it was, none of us would be here today, because most of us have been eating cooked foods most of our lives. And the reality of it is most people that eat a cooked food diet are living just as long as raw foodists. And you might say, yeah, but what about their quality of life? Well, I know a lot of people that eat cooked food that are very sick and they don't have a good quality of life. But it's not necessarily the cooked food as much as it is they're overeating on the food, and they're eating processed food, and they're eating food that's been drugged up and so on. But for the average person that's eating a cooked food diet, but not overeating and eating steamed vegetables, they're doing pretty well. When you compare them to the raw foodists, they're doing just as well, if not even better. I mean, where are the raw food authors that have written books that live to 80 and 90 years or beyond? I mean, I have a friend on the show quite often who's 109 years old, and he eats some cooked food, not a lot. So what is so much more special about raw food? Now people might say, well, raw foods conserve the nutrients, and the nutrients are destroyed when you cook food. Well, I have found out that that's not necessarily the case either. You know, there are certain nutrients that are destroyed when you cook food, but for the most part, most of the vitamins and nutrients are still in there. Yes, the enzymes are a big factor and an important factor, and that's one of the important things and reasons to eat a raw food diet. But you can eat cooked food and take enzyme supplements, right? So what's the big deal about raw foods? Why is it so amazing? Well, as I sit here and think about it, do not think I'm knocking the raw food diet, everyone, because I love the raw food diet. I love raw foods. I'm so excited about it still after all these years I've been doing this. I just look at today. Today's a day where I eat very little and I just feel amazing. And I've been pondering, I've been taking some supplements because I got my blood work tested and it showed I had some deficiencies, and I've been taking supplements and it's really been helping. But there are days I don't take the supplements and I feel great. I've always talked about how we feel. We can't just go by how we feel. There has to be more to it. But what is it about raw foods? Well, it comes down to a book that I often talk about, and actually I wrote a book called The Formula for Health based on Arnold Ehret's Formula for Life. And what it's really about is the formula for life, or the formula for health, is power minus obstruction equals vitality. Power minus obstruction equals vitality. That's it right there. Or health minus disease equals wellness. So you could have all this good health and very little obstruction or things that create dis-ease in the body, and you're going to have a result of good health. But these things don't move in the same direction, and as that obstruction or things that make the body uncomfortable rise, the vitality starts to deplete. And as long as there's more power than there is obstruction, you're going to be in some state of health. But when that obstruction passes that amount of power, that's when you start suffering from the beginning signs of disease. And if you don't do anything about it, which most people don't at that point, it keeps getting worse and worse. And before they even know they have a serious disease, they're all the way up here in the obstruction, and they have no energy or power to get rid of it. So that's the key here to the raw foods. Raw foods conserve the energy. It's not about getting more energy. It's not about eating more energy. It's not about eating more things that are going to give you more energy. Those things are stimulants and false sense of energy. What it's about is conserving the amazing energy that the body already has, that we get each night when we get the proper amount of rest and sleep. We rejuvenate ourselves like a cell phone. You plug a cell phone in the wall, you wake up, it's fully charged. What happens when you don't charge that cell phone fully? Or if you forgot to plug it in, you wake up, it has less energy. So we get the energy from the sleep, and we conserve the energy by not wasting it. The problem we have, or one of the problems with cooked food, is when we consume it, it makes the body use more energy to digest the food. So this is one of the issues we have. And I'm not saying people that eat cooked food don't have energy, but the majority of them are living on stimulants, and that's why they appear to have this energy, but it's really a false sense of energy. Whereas when you're in a raw food diet, you don't need to eat a lot to have energy. As a matter of fact, more energy is used through the process of digestion of unhealthy foods than any other act we can do, any other act we do. And that's a pretty astounding fact, because it's amazing how little I eat, and I eat a raw food diet, and I have a tremendous amount of energy. I mean, I don't like to talk about fasting as much as other people do, because, the Bible talks about, not boasting about how often you fast or how long you can go without food. But I am telling you, Arnold Ehret did amazing work on the amount of little food we can eat and still have an amazing amount of energy in his book, The Mucilus Diet Healing System, and also Rational Fasting. You don't need to eat a lot to have a lot of energy. And I believe that eating a raw food diet is the way to go. Now, if your body's detoxifying, you're going to be wiped out if you don't eat. But when you're clean, you can go a long time without a lot of food. And if you're going without a lot of food, you're not spending a lot of money on food. And one of the main reasons people don't eat healthy is because they think they can't afford it. But they don't understand when you're eating healthier, you eat less, or you don't need to eat as much. So that's one of the amazing things about the raw food diet. But tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Jeff Hazim is going to talk about something, again, I've never heard before. I'd love to know everyone's feedback about it, but you have to listen to his webinar to hear what he's going to talk about. It's a free webinar we're going to be doing. It starts at let's see here. The free webinar starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to go to 9:30. It might go a little bit over, but we think we're going to try to keep it to an hour. We have a live Q&A at the end for Dr. Hazim. We also have his wife who's going to be doing some raw food recipes. And it's going to start at 8:30, but there's only a limited amount of spaces left. I mean, people are just signing up. I'm amazed how many people have signed up already, but we still have some room left. I'm going to put a link right below this video right here. Just cut and paste this video right into your browser and sign up. It's completely free. There's no strings attached. There's no obligation. You don't have to give your credit card. I'm going to charge you. None of that. You just sign up by putting your name and your email, and you fill out a questionnaire, and you're ready to go. And the link's below the video right now, so just cut and paste this in your browser. As for me, I'm really excited because we've had Jeff on the show twice, and his subjects were amazing. I know Jeff, and I know how fun and what a good teacher he is, and how direct and to the point he is. So I really enjoy his teachings, and you will too. Dr. Jeff Hazim and his wife Andrea Hazim tomorrow night in a free webinar. Now, as for us, we're getting ready. We're leaving Friday to Texas, so we're getting ready for that. If you're in Texas, you'll all be ready for us now. And that's it, everybody. So we have Dr. Jeff Hazim tomorrow night. We have another video coming tomorrow, though, so post those comments or questions below this video. I didn't get to do the Q&A last Friday, but I have it done. I just don't know when I'm going to post it. It might be Thursday. Or Thursday might be about what Dr. Jeff had said. We might talk more about that. But either way, we'll get to it. I have some great videos planned. I love your comments and questions. And how many of you want to know what the surprise topic is with Dr. Jeff Hazim? As a matter of fact, let's do that. Here's a question. How many of you can guess what you think Dr. Jeff Hazim is going to talk about on the free webinar tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern Time? Why don't you take your guess below the video? Put your guess what you think he's going to talk about. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with something that, as Jeff describes right here, I'll read it. He says it's the #1 cause of premature death around the globe. So that's your hint. And it has to do with the benefits of raw food versus the negative effects of cooked food. So your hint, there it is. Post below the video if you think you know what the topic's going to be, what we're going to talk about. And maybe tomorrow I'll talk about a couple of the comments that people had of what they think it is. As a matter of fact, I'll make it even more exciting. If anyone guesses, and I won't limit it to one person. I won't limit it to the first person. If anyone guesses what you think Dr. Jeff is going to talk about, I will send you a free DVD of your choice of one of my DVDs. How's that? So get on your computers and start typing away. You can guess as many times as you want. And if you guess it right, I will send you a free DVD. If you guess it wrong, well, join the party, because I don't think anyone's going to get it until tomorrow night. All right, everybody, there you have it. That's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show saying have a great day. And all right, here's another question. What do you think of my new hat, everybody? I was in New York, and I found some nice hats, and I love this one. And my wife likes it too, so we get to both wear it. But my hat I'm going to wear tomorrow might be a little different, so you'll see. All right, this is Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show saying have a great day and a great Raw Life.
This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life. Bright and